This is surreal. I could be saying goodbye to my house one last time as they're having us evacuate. This is scary. I feel so much compassion for anyone that's gone through this.
A group of residents in Altadena suing the power company, Southern California Edison.
The so-called Mesa-Silmar circuit that the plaintiffs' lawyers say is emerging as a leading potential cause of the fire.
Edison didn't shut off power to its electrical equipment despite warnings of high winds and fire danger.
Richard Bridgford is the lead lawyer in that lawsuit. Richard, do you have proof that the company's power lines caused the fire?
Yes, we have proof, and let me tell you what this lawsuit's about. This lawsuit is primarily about changing the corporate calculus so that this never happens again. Unfortunately, as in the Coastal Fire, Creek Fire, the Woolsey and the Thomas fires, that lesson simply has not been learned. And what's sad and particularly unfortunate about it is that prevention should not be an issue. SCE knows what is required to prevent these fires. Covered conductor, underground the wires, most importantly, de-energize in time. And that has not been done. It's not a money problem. It's a problem of where the money's going. Fact, Edison made $1.6 billion in profit in 2023. And in doing so, it nearly doubled the prior year's profits. It has recently released $25 a share or more on its A and B shares, and it has paid generous compensation to the members of the C-suite. The question, the relevant question, is where did that money not go?
My name is May Tamayo. It's been like 18 months ever since the day one happened on August 8th, right in a wildfire. The wind was like 90 miles per hour. My daughter said, we need to pack, Mom, because the fire is getting closer to our neighborhood. Now that you came back here, everything is gone. It's just like, what happened? When we're able to come back and we saw the property is gone, I was just nonstop crying. We were homeless. We don't know what to do.
Soon, the resilient people of Maui started to help each other, neighbor helping neighbor to get back on their feet like the family they are to one another. While navigating the process of rebuilding their lives once again, May and her family were introduced to a team of caring legal professionals at a town hall meeting hosted by Bridgford, Gleason, and Artinian.
So we actually do the work. The attorneys you meet here are the people who will work on your claims.
These timely town halls are designed to provide valuable answers to the many questions this community had and is also the beginning of recovery for people. Once it was determined that the Lahaina fire originated by sparks ejected from broken power lines in the unmaintained vegetation below a utility pole, May, her family, and many others learned that they were eligible for compensation brought on by a lawsuit by Bridgford, Gleason, and Artinian.
It's so important to have the Bridgford, Gleason, Artinian helping us. There is a guarantee that they're here to help you. They're doing the work. They're just like our ohana, our family. They're always there to respond, give you all the answers. And it was a blessing. We thank God that they're always here. Every time when you needed a help, I would greatly recommend you to meet Bridgford, Gleason, Artinian.
May, her family, and nearly 1,000 more people affected by the wildfires in Maui are currently represented by Bridgford, Gleason, and Artinian, helping rebuild their lives in this paradise.
Yeah, that tree is... These I just had bought these a week before the fire. They're fireproof, of course. and just had, and I just had a handyman, which I just paid him to install all of them, literally a week before the fires. Wow. Which was, and then you see like, oh, wow. I don't know, I thought this was the roof, but it's... Looks like the roof. Yeah, which was fire retardant, I guess, but it's the rest of the stuff collapsed. Yeah. This guy was a doctor, he was an herbalist. Oh. So, I guess the gate there, air conditioning's burned down.
Joining me now are attorney Rich Bridgford and Jeremy Gersey, who lost one of his properties in the Eaton fire. I want to thank you both for joining us. And Jeremy, I want to say you actually lost rental properties that are really your livelihood in this fire.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've put all my life savings and energy into building a nice community here. Mm-hmm. So.
And Rich, you're one of the first to file the lawsuits against.
Yes, we conducted an extensive investigation and were the first to file. Mm-hmm. The lawsuit is principally about holding this corporate actor accountable. Mm-hmm. We've represented tens of thousands of victims in the past against this particular utility in the Woolsey, the Thomas, the Creek, as well as the Coastal Fire. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the message is not being received. Mm-hmm. And we're hopeful that this will be something other than business as usual. Mm-hmm. The community is suffering. Mm-hmm. I'm a lifelong resident of Southern California. Mm-hmm. I have countless friends who have lost their homes in these fires. Mm-hmm. And I would say that if we were to compare this to make it analogous to war, mm-hmm. that this would be as if tactical nuclear weapons were deployed.
When the Maui wildfire struck, lives were changed forever. Homes lost, businesses destroyed, futures uncertain.
My home burned to the ground. People were doing the sifting, going through their properties, looking for things. I'm like, oh, piece of cake. I'm a professional, I know what I'm doing. I rolled up here and I was humbled. Looking at the property and I was like, nope, I'm not gonna bother looking for anything. There is nothing to find, it's leveled. Well, the only thing I looked for was my dog's ashes in a little, yeah. That was the only thing. They're in it with you. They're fighting the fight every day with you, for you, and they are relentless in their efforts to get it done. Everybody is just there for you, for whatever it is that you need.
We're a grassroots type of firm. We're very client-centric. From the day of this fire here on Maui, we've been here every month, and we hold workshops, we hold informational meetings every month. We send out monthly updates to our clients constantly. We have a great team that knows what they're doing because we've done thousands of these claims. And we know that it's very important to start to work early in the cases. I've heard stories about other firms that really just sign up and clients don't really hear from them. But we start gathering information from day one of signing up clients because we've been there before. We know it's important to get that information going on every household's individual damages, which is really what the whole case is about.
The support that I got from BGA enabled me to have the peace of mind so that I could continue with what I knew I needed to do to get my life back. They explained the process and every step of the way and kind of the timeline of what it would be and my part of that. They were very clear and decisive, very honest about what potential outcomes could be based on their past experience with this type of a fire.
That's why clients hire us. We've handled 12,000 of these claims, roughly 12,000 of them. We know how to maximize the damages. We've seen every different type of situation. So once they retain us and sign up, we have a case manager and an attorney signed to their file. Mm-hmm. And they are working with them to gather certain documentation depending on the type of case that they have so that we can analyze it, we can speak to our experts and truly bolster that aspect of each individual part of their claim. A lot of firms don't do that or they wait till the last minute, but we know because we've done so many of these how to anticipate what we're gonna need to do. Mm-hmm. And we start working on those damages from day one so that when it comes time to actually resolve these cases, our clients can be first in line.
from that moment when I signed, all the way to us sitting here right now with my house being 3 weeks away from being done. Life has chapters, and this is a new chapter. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good chapter for you.
That's amazing.
It's the overcoming.
Yeah.
Clear communication does ensure that families understand every legal step and the potential outcomes as well. A lot of firms use the phrase "se habla español." And I think what makes us different is the support we provide, the time we dedicate through town halls, weekly updates, check-ins, meetings one-on-one, just, being there for them, listening, and that's sometimes all that people need. They just want to be heard. They want to feel seen.
At Bridgford, Gleason, Artinian, we have a protocol in place to walk them through at their pace, step by step, the process of holding the utility accountable. Because unless we hold them accountable and send a message that is so strong that it changes their behavior, we all bear a collective responsibility in allowing this to happen again. And the lives that will be lost, and the property that will be lost, and the people that will be displaced are in part our responsibility, unless we take action now.
Well, the day of the fire it's got to be the worst day of anybody's life. You don't know if your house is going to burn or not. You're seeing the whole neighborhood on fire. You've got flames as high as you can imagine. I mean, 30, 40-foot flames. You almost feel like the fire department is wasting their time. You really feel totally impotent. And you have no idea whether your house is burning or not. So you're standing there wondering what's going to happen to you. Did you pay your premiums and your insurance? This is going to financially ruin you. Where are you going to be sleeping the next day? Some people think that going to court, bringing a lawsuit, is kind of not a morally right thing to do. That's completely wrong. We're not talking about a frivolous lawsuit. We're talking about a destruction of your livelihood. Most of the people that are not independently wealthy, their biggest asset is the home they're in and the equity that that home has. And once that's destroyed, if you don't try to recover from that, you're really financially ruined. I had never heard of Bridgford, Gleason, and Artinian. The only thing you have to do is make sure you pick the right firm, and in my opinion, in my humble opinion, that's been the right firm for me, Bridgford, Gleason, and Artinian. You can be optimistic that you will get out of this nightmare, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you will be able to build a new home and get your life back together. You will be able to get back on your feet, and that's the positive thing.
We have a passion for changing the system that resulted in burning down your home, or displacing you from your rental unit, or saddling you with smoke and ash throughout the neighborhood. And that passion is to change the system in California to prevent wildfires.
Investigators still working to determine what exactly sparked the Eaton fire.
SoCal Edison says its own faulty equipment is likely to blame. KTLA's Annie Rose Ramos live in Altadena with the latest details. Annie Rose, good morning.
And Frank and Jess, I am standing on Michelle Majid Hughes's property. Her family has lived here for nearly 30 years. As you can see behind me, her home burned down. Hear her reaction to what the CEO of Edison had to say alongside her attorneys. Listen.
It's really still hard being up here. It's very difficult coming up here, and I'm sure that I speak on behalf of all the community, whether they lost their home or not. That whole experience was traumatic. I think that SCE needs to stop. They need to step up to the plate and take responsibility. That's what I think they need to do. I don't know how they sleep at night.
SCE has attempted to deflect blame for the fire and has told a hodgepodge of different stories.
No other evidence, according to Mr. Pizarro, there is no other evidence right now that it was anything other than their lines that caused this fire.
New at 5, victims of the Eaton fire will have to wait until 2027 before the first lawsuits filed over the cause of the fire will go to trial. Now, a judge says it will take more than a year to prepare for trial, even though some of the attorneys representing the victims say they can be ready much sooner.
Today was the date that the judge set a trial date in the case, which is a backstop essentially for resolution for all the victims in the Eaton fire.
Outside LA Superior Court, attorney Mike Artinian says that means all the investigation and preparation now has a deadline, January 2027, when the first of the Eaton fire lawsuits is set to go to a jury trial.
Here's the thing. A trial date is essentially an end date. It's the reckoning date, and it's the date for resolution for these plaintiffs.
His firm represents hundreds of the more than 5,000 fire victims suing Southern California Edison to try to hold it financially responsible for the damage caused by the Eaton fire. Edison said today, "We acknowledge the court's decision and will adhere to the timeline to the extent we are able."
We on the plaintiff side, the defendants, and the agencies involved in the investigation have all actually inspected the evidence.
He's talking about the electric lines and towers that ran through Eaton Canyon, and one particular tower seen in this video obtained by NBC4 Investigates earlier this year, where the first sparks and flames were seen. The suspect towers and equipment were dismantled and airlifted out so they could be examined by experts. Edison has also announced it's willing to make out-of-court arrangements to compensate fire victims who haven't filed lawsuits. Details on that are promised in the coming weeks. I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News.
On that catastrophic August day in 2023, as thousands fled the raging inferno in Lahaina, a few selfless individuals, including longtime resident Joe Schilling, risked their lives to help the others evacuate. Leading a group of 4 from their burning homes, Joe and many others ultimately found themselves trapped in flames with no escape.
Everything I did, my brother thought was cool. He was my biggest fan. He was just this amazingly selfless guy, and I'm really pissed off about his loss. On the afternoon of the fire, I got a call from my nephew. He said, "Is Joe okay?" And I said, I don't know anything about this. I'll reach out to him. Now, in my mind, the first person he'd call if he really wanted to talk through something like that would be me. I had to fly out of town the next day to go give a speech. It was on the plane ride that I realized he was dead. Over a period of a few months, things start to come to the surface. Lawsuits are taking shape. I've never been involved in a lawsuit, but one thing that is very, very difficult and can be overwhelming are the unknown unknowns about what do I do to try and get compensation for my family. It became clear to me that Bridgford, Gleason, and Artinian was the clear choice for me to make contact with. This was clearly the most experienced law firm with wildfire litigation. The kind of things that you need to learn in order to make the best decision for your family. If I choose to do this, does it eliminate everything else? Once I go down this road this far, are there fees involved? Do I have to pay anything up front? Which you don't. I was impressed by the personal attention that I received from the firm. I don't do business with people I don't trust and like. I have to respect you as well as like you. And both of those criteria were met. And from that day to this day, they have been very invested in what is best for my family. So one of the things about the Bridgford law firm is they are the most experienced wildfire and fire disaster law firm. They just are. You know, when you're overwhelmed and you're dealing with all the unknown unknowns, you're going to have to make a choice or a selection on someone you can trust. We talked about it. I told him my reasoning. He said, "I agree 100%. I think what's best for your family is go down this road." And I said, "Yep, what I want to do is get closure fast." And that continues to impress me. I don't know about other law firms, but I can tell you that this law firm did whatever I needed of them immediately when asked. One of the questions I think people wonder about is, why would I do this? Why would I do this for a firm? You know, I've got no stake in any of this, but it mattered to me enough because of the personal impact it had on my life. So I'm doing this because I believe in these people, and I'm a very driven person by integrity and quality of relationship. I truly believe that this firm is differentiated from other firms that deal with this type of crisis. This law firm is driven by integrity and purpose, and you need both of those things to navigate the unknown unknowns. So if you find yourself in this situation, I do recommend that you reach out to this law firm and consider them, because in my experience, it's the only firm that I would use, and it's based on integrity and their mission.